To make a woman miss you, especially if she's an ex-girlfriend or someone who started pulling away, requires a deep understanding of female psychology. It's about reigniting the spark and creating an emotional connection that lingers even when you're not around. Whether you're hoping to reconnect, prevent her from drifting away, or strengthen a current relationship, the strategies shared here will help you become someone she eagerly anticipates seeing again. We often assume that making someone miss us is about making them feel good, but the truth is far more complex. If making her happy were all it took, then the so-called nice guys would be the most successful in love. Instead, they often find themselves ignored or friend-zoned. This is because they miss a key aspect of attraction. It's not about constant positivity, but about guiding her through a range of emotions. Women don't just crave happiness in a relationship. They desire emotional variety. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's why many women enjoy dramatic storylines in movies and TV shows. The ups and downs of these stories create a stimulating experience. Relationships work in a similar way. When a woman only experiences one type of emotion with you, even if it's a positive one, she'll eventually lose interest. That's why it's essential to create an emotional journey that keeps her engaged. You want her to feel a blend of pleasure, tension, anticipation, and even discomfort at times. So, how do you guide her through these emotions and make her miss you? A common mistake men make is positioning themselves as a woman's backup plan. Constantly checking in, asking how she's doing, or reminding her of shared memories can seem like a good strategy to stay on her radar. But in reality, it often reinforces the idea that you're always there as a fallback. This isn't attractive. It makes her feel that you're waiting in the wings if things don't work out with someone else. To avoid this trap, it's important to shift the way you approach the relationship. Instead of being available at all times or trying too hard to make her remember the good times, focus on subtle strategies that naturally make her think about you. One of the most effective ways to create this longing is through preemptive actions. Start making her miss you before she even realizes she might. This involves planting emotional time capsules during your time together, small intentional actions that trigger memories of you later. For example, our sense of smell is deeply tied to memory, so wearing a signature cologne can be a powerful tool. Choose a scent that's distinct but not overly common, so when she smells it elsewhere, it'll remind her of you. Another technique is to create inside jokes or shared moments that only the two of you understand. These emotional anchors will resurface in her mind and make her think of you even when you're not around. If you're already deep into the relationship or trying to reignite things with an ex, it's never too late to start using these techniques. Something as simple as wearing a new cologne when you meet can reshape how she remembers you. But beyond preemptive strategies, it's important to know when to leave on a high note. Many guys make the mistake of overstaying their welcome, thinking that the longer they're around, the more good vibes they can build. In reality, though, interactions are like climbing a hill. The beginning is exciting, but if you stay too long, you'll start to slide down the other side. By staying too long, you risk letting neediness creep into the conversation, which can quickly undo all the positive feelings you've created. Instead, always aim to leave while things are still going well. Set a mental timer for how long you'll spend with her and be the one to end the interaction, even if she's the one who initiated contact. This leaves her wanting more rather than feeling like she's had her fill. It also gives her the chance to miss you after the interaction ends rather than feeling overexposed to your presence. Mystery and subtle jealousy are also important components of making her miss you. But be careful. Many men go wrong here by being too obvious in their efforts. Telling her you're dating other people or trying to make her jealous can come across as emotionally manipulative, which will only push her further away. Instead, let her imagination do the work. For example, if she sees a picture of you at a concert but can't tell who you're with, she'll start wondering and feeling curious. Ambiguity stirs up emotions like jealousy without you having to say anything directly. This subtlety works far better than overt attempts to make her jealous. A great tactic to employ is posting a photo of something like an apple teeny and a beer while you're out, with no explanation of who you're with. This creates just enough intrigue to make her wonder without confirming anything outright. The mystery will linger in her mind and keep her thinking about you long after the moment has passed. Similarly, When you mention an activity you did, such as skiing over the weekend, don't say who you were with. Let her fill in the blanks, which creates both curiosity and subtle jealousy. Another key strategy is to create competition for your attention. This doesn't mean directly making her jealous by flaunting other women in front of her, but rather by living a full, interesting life that doesn't revolve around her. When a woman feels like she has complete control over your emotions, she's less likely to miss you. However, when she sees that you're thriving and engaged in exciting new activities without her, it creates an air of competition. She's no longer your only priority, and she'll instinctively start to compete for your attention. If you were once the guy who was always available, always waiting for her texts or calls, break that pattern by embracing new hobbies and interests. Show her through your actions and social media that you're living an active, fulfilling life. Whether it's picking up a new sport, traveling to new places, or spending time with friends, these activities will signal to her that you're not sitting around waiting for her to come back. This change in dynamic can make her feel like she has to work to get your attention again, which is a powerful motivator for her to miss you. The last strategy is to be different from the version of yourself she expects. If you've been predictable in the past, whether it's always responding to her texts immediately or being available at the drop of a hat, break those patterns. This doesn't mean playing games or being disingenuous, but rather showing her that you're evolving as a person. A subtle change in your appearance, like growing a beard if you never had one, or dressing differently than she's used to seeing, can shift how she perceives you. It signals that you're not stuck in the same old routines, and this change can spark curiosity in her mind. This evolution applies not just to your appearance, but to how you interact with her as well. If you've always been the guy who listens to all her problems without fail, try being a little less available to absorb her emotional baggage. This subtle shift in your behavior will make her question whether she still has the same influence over you, which can reignite her interest. By being less predictable and more intriguing, you'll stand out from the other guys she might be interacting with, and she'll start to miss the unique dynamic you bring to her life. In conclusion, making a woman miss you requires more than just being a nice guy or always being available. It's about creating emotional depth, leaving her wanting more, and introducing elements of mystery, competition, and unpredictability into the relationship. By guiding her through a variety of emotions and showing her that you're living a full, exciting life without her, you can reignite her interest and make her miss you more than ever before.